Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kirill, your justice analyst from Belarus living in Germany. So Eurovision final has concluded. We have our full results. As always, there are some surprises. In the first part, I have already taken a look at the countries ranked 26th to 11th. So now it's time to move to our top 10. And right from the beginning, I want to say that this year the points were spread out so much, like the juries, the televoters in each and every country, they couldn't really agree. So the votings were so different. That's why this year, in order to be top 10, you had to have at least 200 something points. And last time it has happened was in 2019. Back then you needed to have like 230, 240 points to be in top 10. But this was not really because the points were spread so much. However, it was more because there were just like 10 countries which just concentrated almost all votes. And then the other countries got really low scores. So this year is truly special. And let's start the special year review now with the place 10, which was also very remarkable.
Voyage, voyage,
Wow, how polar sometimes the opinions of the juries and the televoters can be. Second place with the juries, last place in accordance with the televoting. I think such huge difference last time we saw with Poland in 2016, where Michał Szpak finished, I believe, third in accordance with the televote, and then also like last or second to last in accordance with the juries. But 0 points from the televote, this was really something truly remarkable. If you remember my prediction video, I was saying that Switzerland and the United Kingdom both will rank really good with the juries and both will not be in top 20 in accordance with the televote, but I was still hoping that it will not be 0 points for both of them. And Switzerland, of course, did extremely well. Second place, it's absolutely incredible, even though the total number of points, this 218, is maybe not so much for the second place of the juries. Just this year, the juries couldn't really agree. So Zoë has received points from 31 country out of 37. Actually, points vary heavily from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 10th, 12th. So she really got it all. So really all the countries couldn't really agree where to place Switzerland. Mostly they have, of course, agreed that it should be in top 10. And then if we take a look at who awarded her 12 points, these were from Poland, Estonia and Spain. But then she has received 10 points from countries like San Marino, Sweden, Portugal, Netherlands and Denmark. So in any case, Zoë can be super proud of this result. But just imagine if Switzerland would actually send the song, for example, last year when they had to compete in the semi-finals, and then Zoë would not qualify, and we would never discover that this would have been second place for the juries. So Ukraine definitely shows that the public definitely has a voice in Eurovision. It was ranked 6th by the public, just 14th by the jury, really not a very remarkable score from the juries. And then in total, top 10 finish, 9th place, and even actually the same amount of points as place 8. Bookmakers actually got this one quite right. They were seeing Ukraine somewhere around this place. I thought it will probably be not enough to reach top 10, but I just really underestimated the televote support of this entry. And if we take a closer look, which countries have awarded so many points to Ukraine, then from the juries, these are Portugal and Azerbaijan, who gave Ukraine 8 points, but then from the televoters, of course, Ukraine got a bunch of 12 points as well, from Israel, Poland and Czechia, and then sets of 10 points from Portugal, Georgia and Spain. So actually a fantastic result. If you remember my very first video about Ukrainian entry, after I have heard it first time, I was puzzled why bookmakers were putting it already out of top 10, maybe on place 15 or 18, something like that. And I really saw this coming into the top 10. I don't think that Ukraine this year will be in top 3 or top 5, but I think top 10 is most probable, or somewhere around place 10. This is where I also see this song at this point of time. With the time, you know, once you get influenced by the opinions of other Eurovision fans around you, I was losing a bit of faith in Ukraine, but actually they ranked where I expected them to be. And I also have to say, in my opinion, in the final, the lead vocalist was singing much better than in the semi-final. I have really enjoyed their grand final performance. In my modeling of the potential final results before I was recording the results prediction video for the final, actually Albania I have put in accordance with the jury on place 17th. They rank now 16th, and in the televote I have put them on place 7. They actually rank even higher on place 5. So I would say I got this one pretty close. I knew that it will not be ranked so high by the juries. I personally loved it. I also voted for Albania, so I'm very delighted to see that they were awarded actually 8 points from the German public. They have truly earned a lot of the Balkans this year, they got 12 points from Greece, 12 points from Montenegro, 10 from Croatia, 8 from Slovenia, even 4 from Serbia, which I would never have expected. Also 10 from the rest of the world, so kind of like in the last years, Albania is really smashing this rest of the world voting. But I was extremely delighted to see that one country, France, has even awarded 12 points from the juries to the Albanian representatives. It was just such a unique entry. I think 8th place is still great. It actually became 3rd best Albanian result in the whole Eurovision history. They only had once placed 7 and once placed 5. But if we take a look at only the last 10 years, it's by far the best. And I hope Albania will keep surprising us with this kind of super unique, ethnic-inspired entries in the future. For me personally, France was definitely the biggest surprise. I was so touched by this performance. I think Louane was really singing her soul out. She was the one to whom I was believing each and every word she was saying, even though they were in French. The words were not too complicated. My limited French luckily was enough to understand that. And then seeing how disrespected she was by the juries, getting 0 points from 11 countries was really breaking my heart, while seeing that some countries like San Marino were, for example, awarded something. At least she managed to finish on 3rd place, even though I thought she actually deserved to be the winner of the jury vote. But then, once the televote results were announced, I felt totally heartbroken. She got points only from 11 countries out of 37, including the rest of the world. I have voted for Louane as well, but it was not enough to get even one single point from Germany. She got 10 points from the Armenian televote. She also got 8 points from the Belgian televote and 6 from Luxembourg televote, for example, but these were just so low scores. If we take a look at the juries, actually 5 countries have awarded her 12 points. If I'm not mistaken, this is like 2nd best score out of all countries. She got 12 points from Armenia, Luxembourg, and then surprisingly from Balkans, so from Greece, Serbia, Albania. So totally underrated, but still it's a great result. Actually, it's another top 10 finish for France. So France really knows that with this touch and balance, they can always get very high results. So if the somewhat lower than expected result of France was my biggest disappointment, the Greece was the one which was helping me to cheer up. Greece was one of my personal big favorites. It was my personal number 2 in this final after Denmark. And seeing Klavdia getting those sets of 12 points from the juries of different countries, from Montenegro, Australia, Israel, Cyprus of course, and then getting also this high result from the televote points. She got 12 points from San Marino televote, which is mind-blowing. Usually it would always be Italy. She also has got 12 points from Albanian televote, of course 12 points from the Cypriot one, actually also 10 points from the German televote, which is for me super great news because I have casted so many votes for Klavdia on this night as well. She is the one who I think has profited from Eurovision mathematics the most. She was ranked 8th by the juries, 8th by the televoters, and in total 6th. Bookmakers have actually not really seen this coming. They were ranking her 13th. In my predictions, she was in the group of countries ranked between place 9 and 12, so I at least ranked it higher than the bookmakers, but still place 6 was something I thought is out of reach, but I'm so happy she's there. Well, Italy was ranked close to top 10 by bookmakers. It was ranked 11th. I also thought he will rank somewhere around place 8 or 9, but place 5 is definitely something what I also didn't expect, but I'm extremely happy because Lucio Corsi was one of my personal favorites. Already in my very first reaction, I told you how much I love the song. I was not sure if this is kind of the typical Eurovision entry, but well, you see the juries, for example, loved it. It was ranked 4th by them and received, just like France, 5 sets of 12 points from Georgia, Croatia, Slovenia, Portugal, and the host country Switzerland. From the televoters, he got a bit less support. He was ranked 10th by them, but nevertheless has received 12 points from Slovenia, 10 from Albania, 10 from Austria, and points from many other countries. So amazing result. I'm so happy for Lucio that his message was understood on the Eurovision stage. So now he's definitely not a simple Lucio, but a huge Eurovision superstar. What a huge surprise it was. I think everyone expected that Sweden will be at least in the final top 3. Actually, in my predictions, I was ranking Sweden first because I thought they will get this whole televote points. But in the end, the televoters ranked them just 3rd. Actually, worth saying, the televoters in 35 countries, including the rest of the world, have awarded some points to Sweden, but unfortunately just not that high ones that we all have maybe anticipated. In accordance with the jury result, of course, they were somewhat lower on place 6. I was still happy they got that one set of 12 points, it was from the Icelandic jury, but of course from the televote they got a little bit more. Nordic countries just loved them. They got their 12 points from Norway, from Denmark, from Estonia, of course from Finland. They also got 10 points from Iceland. In any case, it's worth mentioning Kai were not so far from even place 2. The difference in points between 4th, 3rd and 2nd place are very small. Place 5, Italy, is much further. Even though bookmakers and OGAE members and also me, we were all expecting that Sweden has the highest shot to win. In any case, they became a sensation. They climbed from being the least favorite to win Melodifestivalen to being the main favorite of Eurovision and finishing 4th in the end. So this is an incredible story, and this is the performance which will definitely not be forgotten soon.
Espresso, Macchiato, la 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 la.
Seeing Estonia coming into top 3 is definitely quite something. Last time it has happened that Estonia would be not only in top 3 but even in top 5 was back then in 2002. But this year, once Tommy Cash was announced as one of the participants of the national final, he immediately became a huge favorite, and then after the song was selected and already presented in the lineup, it became a sensation, such a viral song on Spotify as well. So he's a true fighter against all odds coming into this top 3. He was definitely not seen as such by the bookmakers as well. He also only finished 9th in the OGAE voting. Even I was also putting him in my predictions on places between 9 and 12 because I didn't expect that the televoters will support him so much due to his running order. And his song became the most favorite one of the televote in 5 countries. Those were Croatia, Serbia, Malta, Armenia and Latvia. And if you remember my initial video about Estonia, I was totally saying that I feel like the Balkans, the Eastern Bloc, they will definitely get this joke and will award Estonia a lot of points. He actually has received points from 36 voting countries and rest of the world, which means only one country has blanked him. Which one? I'm not really sure, so please let me know down below in the comments if you know it. Even the juries, who usually punish entries with not so perfect vocals, still ranked him 9th. I think also quite a pleasant surprise was that the Italian juries have actually awarded him 10 points, so kind of appreciating his tribute to their country. So he's a true success story and actually showing what kind of result maybe Joost Klein could have gotten last year as well. First of all, I want to say, vocally, Yuval Raphael was so perfect in this grand final. I don't know what was your impression, but I felt like she sounded miles better than in the second semi-final. I was truly touched by her performance, and she has received massive 297 points from the televote, being crowned the winner of the night by the televoters. Actually, last year, Eden Golan got a little bit more. She had 323 or something like that. And this year, Yuval got 0 points, only from 2 countries. One of them is Croatia. Which one's the second one, I'm actually not sure, but 28 countries actually had her in their top 5, so there were really not so many countries which didn't give her very high points. She actually has received 13 sets of 12 points, also from the rest of the world, which is absolutely mind-blowing and definitely the highest score of the night. And even though the televoters ranked her this year lower than last year's Israeli entry, the juries on the other hand actually gave more points. Last year Israel was awarded 55 points, this time 60 points. But if you look at the places, then with less points in the televote, she still got higher position. And then in the jury vote, getting actually more points, she got a lower place just because this year the points were so spread out. I think it's a perfect result. She can be super proud of herself and she really has delivered a stunning performance. You could really believe each and every word she was singing. It was so touching. And speaking honestly, I think it's for the best that she was not crowned the winner, because I would be just so terrified to see how some broadcasters would try to again sign some letters and so on to say that they will not take part in the competition next year or something like that. So I'm really happy with this outcome. She anyway has finished already higher than even predicted by the bookmakers. And our winner was incredible JJ with Wasted Love from Austria. I think since the moment the song was released, it was pretty much clear this will definitely at least fight for the win. Then during the pre-party season, JJ has proved that he can really deliver the song and sing it very well. When the rehearsal started in Basel, I think a little bit of enthusiasm went slightly backwards. Some were questioning if it kind of makes sense to have it all this black and white performance. So I also was starting to lose a little bit of faith. That's why I was putting him in my prediction place 3. The bookmakers were also keeping him on place 2 quite behind Sweden, and even if he didn't manage to conquer hearts of jurors in all countries, he was actually awarded points only from 31 countries, so 5 countries gave him 0 points. He actually managed to convince the televoters more, even though it doesn't show in the points, because he was awarded points from 34 countries, including the rest of the world. And even if he didn't receive any 12 points from the televoters, he actually received 4 sets of 10 points, and the juries in 8 countries have awarded him 12 points, so he was not such a clear winner of the jury. But just this year, the jury points were so spread out, like I already have said. France had also 5 sets of 12 points, and Italy as well. So in this case, JJ was kind of the winner of both. He got very high score from the televoters, and then for the juries, he also became a main pick. Maybe he would have got even more from the televoters if his running order would be better. However, it didn't really stop Estonia and Israel from getting even higher points. So that's what I have thought about the final of Eurovision 2025. As always, some surprises, big drama in the end, but definitely worth mentioning that this year the points were spread out like never before. So I have never seen that the leaders have so low scores in the end. Maybe it means that the quality of the songs each and every country are sending to Eurovision is increasing, because the juries just can't decide between all of them because they're all great, and the televoters have the same issue. So it was definitely a very interesting year, but there is still so much interesting to discover in the semi-final results and in the more detailed votings of each and every country, so stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video if you would like to see more analytical content about Eurovision Song Contest.